past to the present, he's working still. Through every story we see his will. One body, one hope, one truth we sing. Oh, this is the 246.
All right. Yo, welcome to the 246 podcast. My name remains Tolu, T to the O to the L to the U. And this is another wonderful episode. It's still in the Loving God series, but I thought to, push it out a little bit, look for some extra creative energy, because I can't do it alone. It's just not worth it when it's just me. Again, I keep switching podcast studios, just because I'm trying to find the right one. Just the same way, without the beloved, without the girl. Anyway, let's not go there. The whole idea. But hey, let's have fun. Let's talk today. Today, I'm not alone in the studio as usual, because I can't just talk to myself. I am with an amazing person. I don't want to say his name. No, because I still have to ask him his proper name. But I can only use the name that I found on TikTok. So we found each other. We spoke via TikTok. And his name is Briggs. Did I say it correctly?
Yep, that's correct.
Briggs. I was gonna say Bridge.
No,
that's gonna be something. Imagine you just say, "I'm sorry, it's Briggs." That's gonna be crazy. But yeah, welcome to the 246 podcast.
Thank you for having me, man. Good to be here. Loving the space as well. So,
I know.
Yeah,
I had to
very relaxed.
I had to tune it up. I had to get a proper studio because I was getting someone who's like famous on TikTok.
Thank you, man. I'll pay you later.
Invoice incoming. But yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Obviously, it's always about God. But today I thought I'm doing this series where it's kind of like we're talking about loving God. And the reason why I decided to do it was just because I thought it was something that everybody can talk about. I enjoy talking about it, so why not? Every other person will talk about it. But aside from that, I think it affects every area of our life.
100%.
So you being a creative. Okay, before we even go into it, can you give us like a proper introduction of yourself?
Yes. So my name's Briggs the Wordsmith. That's what I go by.
Yep.
So I'm a spoken word artist from London. I've been writing, been performing for almost about 10 years now, actually. So various stages, work with different artists. But yeah, poetry is my main form. And the content's mainly faith-based, but I always like to say it's whatever lens, I can talk about anything, but it will be from a faith-based lens.
Yeah.
So I don't like to shoebox myself in like that. But yeah, man, that's me.
How did you get into poetry? Because you said 10 years, so I imagine I'm thinking what happened 10 years prior. Was it that you were just chilling, just like, and then one day you're just like, okay, let's do poetry. You guys, what's
You know what? So I've always loved like music, so rap. I never rapped though. So a lot of people when they meet me, they're like, "Oh, you used to rap, you used to do grams." I've never done it.
Really?
And so at the time when I was just about giving my life to Christ, there's a period where you're like, this Christ thing, maybe I should like try
Very
it out.
interesting.
My format, my outlet was poetry because there was YouTube wasn't just starting out, but YouTube was it's not what it is now. And there was a group called P4CM. I don't know if you remember them. It's called Passion for Christ Movement.
Oh, okay, yeah. When you say that, yeah.
This is where like I would watch Jackie Hill Perry, Preston Perry, Ezekiel.
These
guys were they're originally like poets. So I used to watch them. I was like, wow, man, like, and their poems were like really convicting me. So after that, I just started writing. I just started writing my own, and they were kind of like letters to God or how I was feeling. Never with the intention of I'm gonna hit the stage and everyone's gonna love it. It's just here by myself. And it was that summer before I went to uni. So the summer before I went to uni, I said, you know what? I'm going to give this Christian thing a go. I'm a person that's very 100% in or out. So I always say this to my friends. I said, I remember the thought process. It was like, listen, if I'm going to do this God thing, I'm going to go fully in. If I'm not going to be here,
I'm going to be outside.
I'm going to be out. You're going to see, I'm going to be the worst of the worst. Because I realized when I started to understand the faith, this whole lukewarm thing. So I was like, so even this lukewarm thing is not
working.
Yeah,
you're losing.
I said, let me try the good thing, and then if it doesn't work, I'll try and I'm still here.
By the grace.
But that summer, gave my life to Christ, went to uni outside of London, and that's when the whole new world where, creative arts, university, you're like, wow. I thought the stage is just for, the special people, but there will be open mic nights. If you have a poem, you can come and perform it. And I'm thinking, anyone can just come and do it.
Do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing.
whatever you have on your heart, you can share. So I did one poem and everyone just loved it. And they kept inviting me more. Then I started going to my friends' churches and doing stuff there. Next thing you know, I'm just touring the
Doing
UK
it.
and just doing
Wow.
stuff. So it's a happy accident. But yeah, we thank God, man. It's really been a blessing. I've learned a lot.
That is amazing because usually, there's this thing where you kind of like have that as a talent behind the scenes or background. You hear from especially people who like are popular musicians, poets, rappers,
Yeah.
whatever. They be like, oh, I've been doing this since I was 3 years old. Da 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 da. So it's kind of interesting and it's good to hear that someone says, I never thought about it and I just thought to give it a try because then what that says to someone like me, not to sound a little some way, but someone like me who doesn't kind of like think they have a lot of talents, it's kind of like you can actually pick something that you find interesting and
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yeah.
Like that's just the whole idea behind it. So I find that very encouraging and very interesting to me. Now, to ask you another question, what was I didn't have the time to check it at the time. When I saw this post, but it's like, what do you call a Jamaican uncle? I saw that post and I saw the one about the auntie. I was like, wait, right, that's actually interesting.
This has gone way more than I imagined it to be. So randomly, I was just, listen, I've grown up, born and raised in London, so you have many different cultures. I'm Nigerian, so naturally, if I was to meet your mom, it's auntie.
Auntie
Is
straight.
she straight, no problem. But I remember like some of my Jamaican friends and Caribbean friends said, no, like my mom doesn't like auntie. I was like, what? So what do I call her? I'll call her last name. So if her last name is Smith, Mrs. Smith. And I'm like, if I called your mom by her
feels
last
so
name, your mom would be looking at me
disrespectful.
like, what's the problem? Why is he calling me like that? So I said, you know what? Let me ask the people of TikTok. What's going
Let's
on?
hear
What is
it.
it? And then everyone just gave their answers. The Africans were saying, oh, it's auntie. The Caribbeans were saying it's either mum or Mrs. or this, that. And it's just, even right now, my notification, I had to
Still
turn it off.
good.
It's still going.
So crazy.
Yeah,
You know,
it's,
when
but
I-
it's been interesting. It's been
When I
interesting.
saw that one, I was like, wait, I had to think of it. I was like, I can't imagine myself calling someone by their, it's just so,
Some people were saying call them by
their first name.
and I said, heck
Nah,
no.
I ain't gonna
sorry.
do that.
Even if your mom personally said,
Call me by,
I can't do it.
I'll let her know
I
that I'm
can't.
sorry.
It's not in my DNA. I can't do that.
My upbringing will not allow
Yeah,
me. My
but
home training will not allow
that's
me.
it's so interesting. So
Nah,
interesting.
that's so fun. So talking about loving God,
Mm.
I think the base question to getting into it is how has that affected your poetry or the way you write? Because I still keep talking about the first video I've watched about you, that which is the pornography and masturbation one, and the wordplay in that one was so. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy good, and I'm not one who hypes things up when they're not, because to say the least, I feel like I'm very hard to please. Like when it comes to like poetry or comedy, like it can be funny, but I'll not laugh at
Yeah,
it. I'll be
I
like,
get
it's
what you
alright,
mean.
it's
Yeah,
alright.
yeah.
But for it to really hit, it would mean that I really find that topic or the way you do it really interesting. I was like, no, this wordplay is
Oh,
cool,
thank you, man. Thank you.
fire. So how does that affect? How does loving God affect your poetry? How does that seep into it?
I think ultimately, for me, the aim is really to help believers or those who are unbelievers to really understand the love of God. So it's really just portraying that to people. And so you got to have a love for people. You got to have a love for. So that poem, I could have come and just said, "Oh, guys, pornography is bad. Don't do it. This is the dangers of pornography." Yeah, that's great. But I always take a leaf from Jesus's, words where he would use parables, and they would ask him, "Why are you using
Oh,
parables?"
cool.
So that they can understand. So things like, there was a farmer who had the seed and so on. So Jesus could have told them, "Listen, just accept me,"
Shall
and but he had to do it in a way so others can understand. And so, in that time, everyone was, farming, sheep analogy, vines. Everyone understands that. I guess I always say, if it was here today, it would probably be something like someone had 1,000 TikTok followers and
Yeah.
they, you know what I mean? So for me, it's all about portraying that. And so it's really having the love for God and the love for people as well, and being able to put myself in that position where, so in that poem, I just thought, how would it be if pornography was to speak to Christians? What would he or she say? And I just thought, let me just personify it, and then it wakes you up to the danger of everyone knows it's bad because everyone does it in secret, right? So
nobody ever comes out and says, you know, hey,
but it's after that. And the thing that gets me is that after I perform it, wherever I do it live, it's always like, man, that was deep, man. Like, can I talk to you about this? And, you know, and it's great. It just opens doors and conversations. And that's what I want. And that's what my poetry really is, just to open people up to the love of God, because everyone has a view of God that is not necessarily correct. It's, you know, it's strict and this and that, or Christianity is this and that. And you just need to be informed in the right way. And yeah, that's my job. That's my job. That's my hope to do that. So yeah.
So I find that really interesting because, you know, most people do poetry because they like just the wordplay. Getting to see the mindset behind every what would I call it? I don't want to just call it poetry, but what's the word?
Every line?
No, not line. What, a whole poetry, like a whole script piece. That's the word I'm looking for. So like to see the mind behind every piece and what it opens up is very interesting for me, because you don't get that very often. Like, for instance, when we listen to sermons in church, not everybody goes onto the pastor to say, oh, this is what, like they stomach it and then they keep moving. Yeah. But to see that opens conversations where people come to you, they walk up to you and like, oh, that really was strong. Can I talk to you about this? I think that's the main goal, or that's the whole point of you creating a piece and talking about
100%.
it and doing all that. But then my question is, do you ever have creative blocks?
100%.
And how do you manage that? Because most people would say, because you're a Christian and everything is inspired by God. So it's kind of like, oh, there's nothing like a creative block. I don't know. Maybe that's my own mindset.
I get what you're saying. You also got to remember it's a gift as well, and you have to work at it.
Beautiful.
As well.
Beautiful. I like that.
I see it as I always tell people, it's like a muscle. You know, if you want to get bigger arms, you're going to have to put it under some stress. And so, yeah, I definitely get writer's block. There's certain things now I have to do or have to stay away from that just help me in the zone. So for me, one is reading. Like, if I'm not reading, like, I've got a book actually on the way here. I'm reading a book on mindset. And it's just, if I'm reading, it just has to be something. It can be, I mainly read like non-fiction, but anything, if my head is in a book, I'm in a space where I'm just like, okay, things can flow, and I get ideas from it, you know? So, so yeah, reading is one. Also just giving myself time, and I have a few prompts as well. So in terms of if I'm stuck on a piece, sometimes what I do is just don't write for the performance. A lot of times when you get to a certain stage, you're like, oh, I need another poem so that after the pornography one, this next one, they're gonna hear
bang.
It. Yeah, but it's like, just write for you. And that's what I was originally doing before. But sometimes, with everyone knows you and stuff like that, you want to showcase more and you force it. But just let it naturally, write to yourself, write to God. And so whatever I'm going through, it can even be something like, oh, my train was delayed. Just write about it. Do a poem, write about it, how was it delayed, and then you'll find, okay, cool. And then you can write a poem as well. So like I have a lot of poems that I haven't even shared. One, because maybe I'm not ready for it to come out yet. It needs a bit of work, or it's quite personal to me. But I'm always writing, and there's probably 10, 12 pieces that I probably have out there that I'm like, okay, I can go. But I'm always in a state of just writing. And then I might come to a stage. There's one poem I'm just finishing. It's taking about 6 months. And it's just, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm ready to share this. Because I'm also in the space. I also got to remember, I got to be in a space to know, okay, one, is this biblically accurate? Or is this just my feelings? And what is the heart behind me sharing as well, So yeah.
I think I like the last few phrases the best of what you've said now, which is, what's the heart? Is it biblically accurate, and is it reflecting God in a sense? Like, basically, fundamentally, because I think as Christian creatives, like you said, the pressure to always put something out, especially if you're famous. I like if I don't put nothing out in 6 months, nobody's gonna care, which is okay. I mean, that takes pressure off of me. But for you, it just means that
Yeah.
you probably get messages or comments on your post like, when are we getting the next one? When are we seeing you next?
Yeah.
And so there's that pressure to want to always perform at a certain level. Whereas the whole idea is to make things according to God's plan. So how do you kind of like, for some people I've heard them say, when I recorded this, I feel like God was saying to me to put this out. And sometimes they'll be like, when they wrote it, they didn't feel the presence of God in it. So it's kind of like, how do you also do that in your own space, if there's anything like that?
Yeah, no, especially with what I do as a poet, it's just speaking, you know, especially in this realm of social media. You can say something and it's
It's
inaccurate, it's hot. So, you know, being careful of what you say, how you come. You can intend something to be one way and it's not. For me, it's mainly just, okay, God, I want to write this poem. I just do it in stages. I want to write this poem, whether it's gonna come out or not. I'm not even at that stage yet. It's like, I want to write this poem. I want this to reflect you, and I'm writing it mainly to myself, or it could be to God, depending on the structure of the poem. And then you'll just get the feeling like, yeah, this is something like people need to hear. Like the pornography, I knew straight that one. That's for the people. There are some I'm like, I've kept, you know, it's a bit personal, or yeah, I just have. I don't feel it needs to come out yet. So yeah, mainly that's it. I think you'll just know once you're tapped in with God, you'll just know whether it's supposed to
that makes sense.
at the right time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think another part of it is when you have, I think another thing is the excitement. I feel like sometimes, maybe that's just me also, sometimes when I create something that I really, really love, I can watch it 2 million times, and then at the end of it, I'm like, you know what, this is not gonna go out. Like, this is not good. A friend of mine, I can't remember, we were having a conversation, and he was like, oh, how's this going? I was like, oh, I'm just editing a video. And I really love this video, but I don't know. Do you ever have situations like that?
Yeah. All the time.
Also, I think I'm curious about this one more. Do you ever get backlash or anything negative? And how do you deal with that? And like, in the sense of, how does that affect what you write next?
Wow. So yeah, I do get that all the time. And my thing really is that helps me just being the light of the world. That I'm just supposed to shine. So there's some things when I have that moment, it's not, just put it out. If it's not good, you're gonna learn from it on why it's not good. Or you shouldn't really let the crowd dictate. Like, you know, we're in a stage where just because you've got 1 million followers, it doesn't mean what you're doing is good.
Yeah.
And also onto God, is God pleased with it? So it's very hard to, you know, to understand that when we're saying, oh, this guy is great, this guy's fantastic, but it's just like, am I okay with what's being pushed out? And is God okay with what's being pushed out? Sometimes we correlate that, when we do it with money as well, the more money you have, the more followers you have, I don't know, it's like God is with you, like extra, when that could not be the case. So, but I'm in a state now where it's just put it out. Like over the last 6 months, I've just been like, you know what? Come on, man, let's just go for it. You know. So, but as of recently, no. But it's something I've been thinking about though, because it's, you know, a lot of the times I'm performing to Christians and stuff like that. But there's been times when I've been invited to places where it's
not necessarily,
we call it secular. I don't know. Yeah. And the emphasis isn't on God, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, what are you gonna perform then? You know,
do you feel that pressure though?
100%.
Like when you go to this kind of places, like, how do you manage that? Do you feel like you have to kind of like reword your poetry, or you have to create a new one for that audience? What do you?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, something I've been thinking about recently that I will have to kind of adapt to the way that I'm writing, because I remember I had an open mic night in a pub somewhere. Someone invited me.
Really?
And all I had was just like Christian content. And I'm just like, no one's really, it had scriptures, 2 Timothy 1:7, this, that. It was very like, if I did it in church, everyone would be like, wow. But I just knew it wasn't going to work. And I was just like, so me and God have really been getting onto that whole thing of just adapting. And that's why I mentioned, you know, Jesus and the parables, and God's been taking me through that, where it's like, you will have to tailor your language. When I was younger, it was like, no, they're going to hear it. They need to hear it, blah, blah, blah. that's not really loving. You want them to understand. It's not a thing of if you don't understand, that's your
That's
own.
it. That's your
You
problem.
want them to understand. So things like years ago, that pornography poem, I would just talk about pornography. You know, pornography does this, but personifying it, making sure you understand how it affects us in our day to day. Your younger brothers, your younger sisters, this that, so you can understand it. So I'm doing that a lot more now as well. So and I think about it a lot, but it's something I'm tailoring my writing to as well. But you also have to make sure you don't go the other way.
Where it's just all secular and it doesn't
However,
change.
I do believe there is space for that. I think sometimes we have, secular, godly. I think secular is just the absence of God in it. You know what I mean? Then you got worldly. That's a completely different thing. So
altogether.
if you want me to write a poem, I've done it. I've written poems for companies and themes. If you want me to write,
that's work to an extent.
yeah, if someone's asked me to write a poem on Christmas or the love between a man and a woman, hey,
Sure, right.
yeah, that's fine. It'll be from my lens. There's not going to be any crazy stuff going on, but I can definitely do that. But it's something I'm working on to kind of tailor my content.
Because the reason why I ask is because I understand that as much as poetry is also to edify the church, as in Christians, there's also the part where you wanted to touch people who are not born again, and then they're able to kind of like draw closer to God.
Yeah.
Because I imagine the whole point of doing everything is so that God is seen. Like Jesus Christ is the main person we are trying to show to the world, irregardless. So it's kind of like, that was why I asked, because I'm thinking, if I hear the First Timothy 1, I'm excited and I'm checking my verses as you're saying. I'm like, ooh, I'm even getting like deeper understanding and deeper revelations of what you're trying to say there. And maybe I'm just, this is bang on, calm on. I'm doing all that. But I imagine the random next man on the road who has not even opened their Bible ever will just hear it. I'm like, okay. So,
but it also depends on you need to know who you're called to as well. I don't think
beautiful.
everyone is supposed to. Not that I don't think, but there are some people, if it's poetry, music, whatever, photography, where it's just you're in the world, you're there, and that's for I have friends where they're just so good with people, like they can evangelize, not in that way of just like, oh, you're going to hell. It's more like, what do you think about God,
talk,
bro? Like, why do you think that way? And they have a way of doing that, and they're supposed to be out there where you have some other people where you're there to edify the believers, and I think that's kind of my thing at the moment as well, edifying believers at this moment in time. It could change, I don't know, and that's something I need to stay connected to with God. But I definitely feel that there are certain types of Christians where we're called into our marketplace, different places.
Okay, that makes sense, because the Bible says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So that makes sense. The idea is to shine your light, irregardless. I get that. Next question is, where's the craziest place you've ever had to perform? Because when you said you performed at the pub, I'm like, rah, what's that going to be like? Because I can't imagine.
Craziest place.
I can't imagine going in there like, so Jesus walked on water. And everyone's
craziest place, probably the pub, and then
that must have been awkward for you.
Yeah, streets. I've done the streets as well, so a bit of like evangelism there, which is like you really good. There was no mic; it's really just your shouting at people around you. That was pretty cool. I think the pub was probably the craziest, the maddest place, I would say. Yeah,
because I'm just trying to imagine what that's like, because everybody's there with like their pints of whatever brand they drink. And then you're just talking at you,
I mean, it was an open mic night at the pub, so I think they were ready for people were singing, people were doing poetry as well. So maybe that pub just has a creative element to it. But people were quiet. It wasn't boisterous. It wasn't. People were quiet. People were listening.
That's good.
Even when I went to the toilet afterwards, a guy came up to me in the urinal. Was like, "You did that poem?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, that was really good." I was like, "Oh wow."
Why not do a tour of that? Maybe try and see if you can do a tour of it.
Well, pubs,
yeah.
Hey, pubs, if you're
watching this, why not?
I'm here, man.
Let's talk.
Let's turn water into wine. I can do that for you.
No, that is so crazy. I don't know. That's mad.
Yeah.
I feel like if I got that email to come out and do something like that, I'll double check. Like I'll double check and then
Yeah.
call them. I'm like, are you guys sure?
Yeah.
Have you seen my work?
Yeah, but back then I was just like happy, like, well, you want me to come? I was just like,
Ready
I
to
didn't
go.
have that notion. I'm like, okay, you want me to come? Hey, I'm there.
I'm there.
You know? I'm there.
Wow,
that's yeah, things like that, opportunities like that, it just makes it a lot easier when you're on stages now. You're like, oh, I've done a lot of pubs,
Yeah,
streets.
that's
this,
actually
that.
a very interesting thing, you know, because not everybody would have that in their rap sheet, so to say,
Yeah.
like, oh, I've performed there before, and so that's really really interesting and speaks to your openness to do the work anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to talk about God anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
happy to talk about God anywhere, which is more or less like what Paul was doing.
Yeah.
Anyone who would listen wherever he went, he would talk
That's
about
it.
it. Even on the shipwreck, he
Yeah.
eventually started talking to everybody there. So it's kind of like, yes, the Bible says, be ready to
Yeah,
give,
yeah.
to speak, to answer
Yeah.
everybody, as much as they do. I think it's Colossians 2, I believe. Colossians 2 or Colossians 4. Colossians 4, actually, I would like to say. So I find that very, very interesting. Now, I think I'm trying to phrase this properly so I don't mock it.
What
you know,
is
you know, you
what is
know. What are you
loading
gonna hear
up
now? You're gonna hear something interesting. I've forgotten now for a second, in a bit to try and say it. But what would you say has been your okay? This is it. The most. Have you ever put a very personal piece out? And what was that? What was the journey? What was that like? Like creating that piece. What was the idea? What was the mindset behind it? And how do you relate that to God?
Yeah, I think my most recent one, it's called Rights and Evens, and it's basically about, we have the right to be offended and we have the right to get even, but we shouldn't. And so it's mainly about unforgiveness, and it was during a time I was struggling with forgiving a family member. It was very like, and I'm still looking at these scriptures, forgive. Otherwise you won't be forgiven. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Like I'm me and God are like
Having
this.
a conversation.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't want to do it. And God was taking me through this journey where it's like, it becomes easier when you understand that you have also been forgiven. So when you start looking at forgiveness from the lens of, oh, you've hurt me, it's very easy. But when you forget that, oh, also you as well, you say, God, yeah, okay, this time I'm going to pray like every day. I'm going to pray. You don't do it. You just kind of, I didn't pray. Like from birth, I'm a sinner already. When you understand the gravitas of that, you understand that this thing in the grand scheme of things, as heavy as it is, and I'm not making light of, situations, but in the grand scheme of things, just let it go. Especially if it's costly, if it's you, it's that doesn't get you into heaven. Oh, can you imagine the pain where it's like, oh, this is something I could have avoided, I really could have avoided it. And I was like, no, this can't be me, but help me, because I know the scripture is there, but I'm not feeling it. So yeah, it's very, very personal. And I talk about just going through that early stage of just unforgiveness. And there's a line where I say, I know vengeance belongs to the maker, but sometimes I wish he can lend it to me for the evening. So it starts off very angry, but then it goes into that whole thing of understanding that I've been forgiven. And if I'm struggling with forgiveness, I can always, find it with Christ. So that's very personal. And that was one of those ones that took time, where it's, I was ready to talk about it, but I had to package it in a way as well, so that, people understand it. Because when I first start performing it, I say to people, oh, has anyone like struggling with unforgiveness? Everyone puts their hand up. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I always get them like, yeah, when people do you dirty, like, yeah. People were screaming from the things like, yeah, so this poem is about that. They're like, oh, yeah, let's go. And then so I lead them into the thing.
Oh, that's
and then
nice.
They're like, yeah, then I just switch it. Like, oh, but what about you? What about this? What about how God sees us? And so that I want you to feel those feelings, but I also understand that, we are also offenders as well, which we fail to remember. So yeah, so that's...
Wow, I like that, because what that says to me is you are also learning as you go, in a sense of, while you're even writing a piece, it's also still you learning and journeying, because it's not necessarily, let me write this for them, and this is for them. This is
I started
to them.
off like that.
Okay.
I started off like, yeah, this is what people need to know. Yeah, and it was great. But then also there's so much. I always say this to people. Sometimes we always see the 0 or the 100. We never really see the in between. We always say, "Oh yeah, now he's saved." But what about that middle ground where it's, I'm thinking of this, God thing, but this lust thing is still
It's
around.
still there.
I'm still smoking. It's God is in that
that's the
middle, and a
state of
lot
most
of people
don't
are
talk
in that
about.
middle ground. They won't like to admit it, but so it resonates with people when you're dealing with unforgiveness or when you're dealing with pornography and you're a believer. These things. It's so that we can get to that end really, because as social media we just see the final product. That's all we see. Yeah, I got saved. Yeah, I got the job. Yeah, we got the baby. Yeah, we got the house. But no one ever shows that, this mortgage application didn't go through, man. This
I did
tough.
1,000 applications
Yeah, do
before
you
I
know
got
what
this
mean?
one. Yeah.
Another interview I didn't get. No one posts that, So I want to show the muddy part of the Christianity. That it's beautiful though, because it's refining. But it's not always I'm taking over my mountain and I'm more than a conqueror. Which there are times, yes, you are. But sometimes it's tough, man. If we look through the scriptures, that David was going through it, Moses was going through it, Jesus was going through it, knowing that I've been sent to die, but I'm looking at this guy Judas from across the room. I'm like, damn, man, it's hard. So
can you imagine that? For 3 years, you were just looking at the guy that you know. It's not like as if you didn't know he was going to betray you. It's a different thing if you didn't know, but you knew already. You even picked it.
Yeah.
Oh, nah.
So that just
crazy.
shows,
That's why when he went to the Garden of Gethsemane, he was like, yo, if it's possible, just take this away from me. However, I like that. However, not my way, but yours be done. So I think I get the picture now. What you're trying to do with your piece sometimes is to get people to see that part, that Gethsemane part.
That's it. You've nailed it. That's it.
You're still trying to get to the perfect place. Don't judge yourself if you're not yet there. But you still have to do the work. There's still a process where you have to kind of like do things the right way.
100%.
You have to fight yourself, fight your flesh, fight every other thing to make sure that you have God, which is amazing. That's so amazing. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It took get some money for me to get there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I've even taken that for myself. Yeah, no, that is it. Literally.
Credits when you write the next one. Credits, I'm ready for my credits. No, but 100%. That is so amazing. How do you manage the fame, quote unquote? Not quote unquote.
I don't know if it's fame, to be honest.
Or like the popularity.
I don't think it's fame personally for me. I think there are a lot of people more famous than myself.
Obviously, definitely.
But I don't really see myself like that. I'll be very honest.
That's
like
good.
I'm just a normal guy. Enjoy.
But is it not awkward when people walk up to you randomly and just say, "Hey, Briggs, the wordsmith, what's good?" Come on.
It's not awkward.
Oh,
it doesn't
brother.
happen. It doesn't happen as often as you would think. It was probably when I'm around like Christian circles and stuff like that. Maybe, but it's not like I walk through the door and everyone's like, honestly, no one will probably recognize me. So I'm not even on that. That's fair.
That makes sense. Though. But I still think like it'll be awkward when people talk to you or something like that.
About the piece? About like poetry?
Yeah, just randomly when you're on the road and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not awkward though.
Okay,
no,
that's
it's
good.
not. It's not awkward. I always like to just the fact that you even come up to me, I think that's great.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, especially in this London, UK, everyone's a bit, So the fact you've even approached me like, or said, I like that piece you did there, here and there. Oh, what did you like? I even want to know, what did you like about it? How did it help? Like, it's a conversation. For me, it's not a fan. It's a Christian brother, Christian sister. We're just talking about a piece I wrote. That's the way I see it, really.
That's amazing, because I think the reason why I asked that question is to understand the mindset behind the work. I think because I feel like a lot of the time when we do the work, not me. When
you're creative, though.
Nah, not really. When you do the work, and you get feedback on it, sometimes it helps you see that you're actually making a change, like you're actually affecting people's lives, and it makes you actually think about what you're doing. You're like, okay, how do I do this in a God-centered way that still blesses people? to make sure that I'm not just doing this because I want to enjoy doing it or because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Because there's that fine line between it. There's that fine line
100%.
between it. So if you were to say something to like a young creative or someone who's coming up as a poet, what would be the two? Let's do three things you would say to an upcoming creative or someone who's in poetry who wants to go into it. What would you say to them?
Are
Who's
they
a
Christian?
Yeah, Christian. 100%.
Yeah, I'll definitely say work at your craft. Remember, this is a gift, so do it with excellence, and you're representing God as well, so do it with excellence. So put your reps in, you know. So if you're a photographer, okay, no, it's you're not. It's poetry. Yeah, right.
keep writing.
How can I be talking to you? When's the last time you wrote? 2 months ago. Come on, bro.
Be serious.
Like, let's be serious. If you really want to do this for the kingdom, because when it's your 9 to 5, you're there.
You're on it.
You're on
every
it.
day.
So let's do that. So always put the work in. A lot of people have a lot of faith and zeal, but in terms of the practical things, it's like it's lacking. A lot of our actions, if it represents that we don't even believe it. So work at that. Know your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do it? Is it because you saw someone as like, oh, this could be cool, a bit of 5 minutes fame? Or is it that, you know, you've identified you have a gift and you want to share that with the world, you want to glorify God through that? So work, know your why, and find someone to mirror. You know what I mean? So if you like a certain poet, see what they've done. I'm not saying copy it verbatim, but I'm a person like, if you see someone successful, look at what they've done. Look at the input they've put out there. Try and get some mentorship as well in that. A lot of people don't think you can do that through poetry. You can just, hey, can you feedback on my poem? What do you think? So on and so forth. And then I can add a bonus one. Go to shows. Go out there and do it. Because online is great. But if you're there,
feel
it's
the energy,
amazing.
feel the pressure.
I did
feel
one,
everything.
when was it? Last week. And it was the first time in a long time. And I was like, yeah, it was only probably like 50, 60 people. But it was just good. It was just so good to just get out there and just, you know, be with the people rather than like a screen. But the online is good as well.
Online, I feel like with the online one, you get to control the whole environment, the pace. You get total control over what you're putting out there. Versus when you go out there, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what, like, anything can throw you off.
Yeah.
It's just like the way comedians go to like you know, comedy bars and comedy
I love
rooms and stuff.
comedians, man.
Yeah, those guys are so, should I say, intuitive or quick on their feet? Because it's like you go to a room, you don't know who's gonna heckle you.
I think they're modern day poets, you know.
Low-key.
I go to a lot of comedy shows, and I remember my friend was, why do you go? I said, honestly, it's like poetry to me, because for me, you've got this set for 30 or 45 minutes, and your aim is to make me laugh, and you're just there, you're just doing it. You've created this, you've written it just like I write my poems, but no one has to laugh at mine.
Your one.
You know what I mean? And if something changes, you can adapt. I think
to
they're
it.
amazing people, and they're one of the smartest people, because the way they think about life
It's different. It's
so different, man. So yeah,
it's so different. If you see with a comedian, like when they talk, you just like, how? Why are you taking it that far?
Yeah.
But it's also still funny at the same time. So you're like, nah, this is just
Yeah,
bad. This is just
100%.
wrong. Yeah, I get that though. So to not wrap it up. Okay, this is another interesting one. How do you have you ever tried this before? To just look at random things and try to make a line or a few, because we're about to like try and do like a little game here. I'm not a poet, but I'm gonna make things work. I've not practiced, but yeah, we're gonna make it work. So I thought we could do that as just like a, you know, fun thing to do. Where we just look at things in the studio here and try and just make lines about it. Obviously, you're the poet, so you have to go first. So I can copy. If not, I'm putting you under pressure, but yeah, why not?
No worries.
We do this every day. I hope. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope as well. I would hope as well. Yeah.
But yeah, just to wrap it up, let's try and do something, innit?
Okay. Cool.
When you're ready.
So, what do you want me to do? A line, a couple of lines?
Anything to be fair.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and mirror what you're doing. So yeah.
Okay.
Let's hope I don't bump, guys.
Okay.
bump.
Let's think. Okay, this microphone. Life is like a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
You get what you put into it.
Okay.
Death and life is in the power of the tongue.
Okay.
So as I speak, abundance will burst from this microphone.
Okay, that's nice. Tell me, what's your one? Okay, come on. Yeah,
You got this,
I'm a
man.
poet,
Don't
man.
think
I'm a
too-
poet, low key.
Don't think too much.
Life is like a camera
Mm.
with a lens. You see what you expect.
Mm.
But when you look through the lens of God,
Mm.
everything crisp in 4K. Come on. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
I might have to take that. If you heard that in one poem,
Hey, I'm just going to come like, hey, yo, royalty. It's time for my royalty.
That was good, bro. I'm telling you, man. Everyone is a poet in their own
In some
kind of
way, yeah, in some
you
way.
know?
I think the main thing is being cool to it, because I think people should. I think poetry is something that you, to an extent, have to be called to, and it has to reflect God at all times. And I just really appreciate what you do on TikTok, because when I watch your content, I'm like, oh, this is fire, man. This is nice. This is really good. The first day, I just kept on scrolling.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, wow, this is good. And then I was like, you know what? What's so? Can I just do the crazy and just see if he'll respond to my message? Because I don't think most people would have the time to kind of like respond to messages. So it was really cool.
no,
I
that's
really
fine.
appreciate you.
No worries, man.
Responding. And if anything, he's faster at replying than I am, which is bad. It is
I'm
bad.
a quick reply.
I'm
Do
sorry.
you know why?
I'm gonna get
Because
better
if
at
I
it.
don't do it in that moment, I'm gonna.
it's gone.
You'll never hear from me again.
It's gone.
So if I'm doing it quick, it's because one, I want to talk to the person and I want to let you know I'm interested. Otherwise, I'll just shut
have
up and
something
then I'll
else to do.
message you today. I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, bro. When can we do?
Oh,
Do you know
that
what I
one,
mean?
yeah, that
I'm
one.
one of the worst at that. So I'm a bad replier, but
You know when to prioritize.
Yeah.
I'm better. I'm gonna get better at it. My manager, I can just hear my manager speaking to me in my ears and say, "Yeah, right." No,
what is it? Why is it that you?
Do you know what it is?
Text? So text
It's just
is
I'm
bad?
bad with texts.
Okay.
If you
It's
call
hard
me,
though.
if
Yeah,
you call me, I'll
it's
pick
much
up.
better. 100%.
I don't know the rationale behind it. I think it's just because my watch is connected to my phone. My phone is always on silent.
Okay.
24/7.
Yeah, same.
So it's like when you call me, it vibrates on my arm.
Okay.
But when you text me, I would not know it's there.
So what are you thinking? Oh, so is it that you don't know
I'm just,
that it's there?
I just don't interact
you
with my
see
phone.
it? 'Cause
I
I'm
don't
a
just
person-
interact with my phone
I'm a
much.
person, I'll see it and then I'll reply to them later. Let me just do 2 minutes and then it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
No, I think my one is just I don't interact with my phone a lot. Like
Oh, okay, fair enough
sometimes
then.
I'm like, where's my phone?
Oh,
I'm like that.
that's a
I'm like
that's
that.
a
Where's
healthy
my
one,
phone?
yeah.
Although, if I'm listening to a message, it's on
Mm.
my phone because I rather listen to it on my phone or watch it on my phone than on my laptop. Because
Okay.
my laptop, I'll just move. Before you know, I'm just doing this on my trackpad. Now I'm editing something else. So when I do that on my phone, yeah, there's no way to get me.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Then people should just call you then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
keep saying that, but I feel
Yeah.
like the UK, everyone prefers
loves
text.
texting.
I'm like, I don't know how you guys
People
do it.
can have, the worst one for me is full-blown conversation, like something deep, like,
Via text.
oh, hey, bro, I'm just thinking if you can come, we've got a wedding.
That
can
is
you do
so
this? Can you-" I'm like, bro,
crazy.
let's just call me.
Chop it up.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you text like that, it even takes more time in my head because it's like what you're gonna take time texting. You'll have
Honestly.
said it to me over
And then
the
you're
phone, and
thinking
that's
of content,
done.
then I'm waiting for your reply. I'm just like,
It's done
how
already.
Are you with voice
Voice
memos?
notes. I don't
Yeah.
even do that, to be
You
honest.
don't do it? Okay. Do
Very
you
weird.
receive them?
I received them
Yeah.
2x speed though.
Okay.
Or
yeah,
2x
of course.
speed.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just to make
Those
it.
people that do podcasts for voice notes. Yeah. Someone
You
gave
need
me like a 5-minute one, like, yeah. Oh, sorry, bro. I'm just crossing the road. I'm thinking, man,
I don't need all that information though.
Yeah, but it is
No,
helpful.
I'm sorry.
Though,
No, it
but-
is good though. It's good. I
But
feel
we're
like I'm a
getting-
bad person now. I'm sorry.
You're not.
Hey,
you're
yo.
not.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
sure
sorry.
there's people that will relate. I'm sure.
There-
I'm sure there's people that relate.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Let me be comfortable with that. But yeah, thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much
No
for speaking
problem,
to me.
man.
You
Thank
have
you for
been
having
an
me.
absolute fun to talk to learn from, to understand your mindset with regards to like poetry, how you got into it. I love the fact that there's an intention with every piece. Yeah, everybody writes, but it's like you also have to think about who you are delivering it to and if it's in line with your beliefs, if it's in line with what God says. Because I think we're in the era where everyone wants to say, I'm a Christian content creator, Christian influencer, but it's like, where's the God in what you're doing? I see that a lot online and I'm just like, okay, cool. But obviously, I'm not going to interact with that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting and refreshing to see that there are still people who do things with the thought of, is it biblically accurate? Is it something that I can listen to? Is it something that can help me think about how God sees me and what I should do with regards to my relationship with God? Because this Loving God series, the main goal behind it is for people to be able to go back and kind of like want more with God, want a deeper relationship with God. So I'm trying my best by the grace of God to, I don't want to say spice it up, but make it one where we only don't just see it from one angle.
Yeah.
It's like you can see how it's affecting every area, every sphere of life, like social media, as you being a content creator, a pastor, speaking to members. I have a few more people, just random guys. A friend of mine, I think we did one last week or 2 weeks ago. It was just general life. So I just tend to try and spice
I
things
love
up.
it,
but
man. No, love it. Thank you for having me as well, man.
Nice.
Really
It's an
appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. You've been fun to talk to, honestly. It's
Thank
been
you.
bands.
Likewise,
It's been
likewise.
bands.
I've enjoyed it.
yeah.
And your poetry, hey man, if whatever you do, you can do it. You can do
I'm
it.
featuring on your next piece. Yo, watch out for this. I'm joking. No, but yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's a
Appreciate
blessing.
it.
All right, guys. So with that, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Share with your grandma, great-great-grandma, great-great-great-grandma's auntie's cousin twice removed. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, there we go. But yeah, how can people find you on social media before I forget?
Social media, Briggs the Wordsmith on everything. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube is there as well. So Briggs the Wordsmith.
Underneath.
all there for
It'll
you.
be, how do you say that thing? It'll be down.
It'll be down
Down
there.
below, down
there.
below. But yeah, Briggs is Briggs.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
The Wordsmith. So yeah, y'all go check it out. Go check him out because I think he's really good. He's really fun. I really enjoyed watching his piece on TikTok. So yeah, y'all go watch it. Y'all go check it out.
You heard the man.
You heard the man. All right, thank you guys. Till I see you in the next one. Yes. Peace.
Peace.
One body, one hope, one truth we sing. Oh, this is the 246.